But it's like we just got like a cute pirate theme they do, you know? Okay, good start. Do we have a chance? Kind of a shallow proc though. I'm gonna have to hit really big here to get this because that's a very shallow proc. Yeah, 100 here. Come on. Ooh, okay, we have a chance. I need to do a lot of damage against Dusk here though. Dusk is very healthy. That was a thrall kill, I think. Oh wait, did we get it? Wait, where did I lose a tick? It died, but like, wait. I'm confused. I think the thrall killed it. I think the thrall, it's a PB. I think the thrall killed it on the same tick I hammered or something, and it like delayed the kill. Let me watch it back.
Hey everyone, Molgo Kirby here with another world record video. The world record for the worst reaction to a world record. To give some context, after the update that allowed halberds to work on the Dawn boss, my world record was being with a time of around 57 seconds. The method I theorycrafted aimed to get a 52.8, and it would be significantly rarer to push beyond this point. But as it turns out, there was a mechanic at play I wasn't aware of, so it turned out my method had an RNG factor at play for whether it ends up being 52.8 or 53.4. It's crazy I didn't find out about this until 30 hours deep into runs, as I would occasionally finish runs for fun, and the times I would get showed I should have gone a 52.8 had I not needed to do a bunch of extra hits. But I guess all the failed runs I checked happened to get the lucky one tick save. So anyways, let's do a quick analysis of a run here, explain the strats, and explain the mystery one tick that was lost. We start by spawning a thrall before ringing the bell. Spawning it before we start the fight saves 2 ticks and relates to the mystery 1 tick loss we had, as initially I thought it would save 3 ticks, but Dusk turned out to be unique compared to other speedrun bosses. The reason the thrall saves these ticks is because of PID and Overkill. Now PID is pretty straightforward to explain. The game processes player and NPC actions one at a time, so if 2 NPCs attack on the same tick, it processes one before the other. Having PID over someone else means your actions are processed first. This is a common term in PvP where having PID is a huge advantage as your hits land 1 tick earlier. PID will be relevant for the Overkill method I'm doing. And now, to explain Overkill. So normally when an NPC reaches 0 HP, it waits 1 tick before starting its death animation. Overkill is what we call the mechanic that happens when NPCs skip this 1 tick delay, effectively saving 1 tick. Overkill happens if a boss reaches 0 HP, but there are still more hits that haven't been applied yet. For example, if the first 2 hits of a scythe kill it, the 3rd hit splat is Overkill. Or in this case, if my Chally kills the boss, and my thrall projectile is still in the air, it can be the extra hit for Overkill. As for why extra hits cause Overkill, let's just go with spaghetti code. Now, if you want to use Overkill for a melee hit, it only works if the thrall has PID over the boss. The problem is the melee hit lands so fast that your thrall needs to attack the same tick the boss reaches 0 HP for your thrall's hit to be after your melee weapon. But if your thrall doesn't have PID, the monster goes first during the tick, so it doesn't see any thrall attacks coming since your thrall didn't attack yet and doesn't get overkilled. By summoning our thrall before the gargoyles spawn, it now has PID because monsters are given PID based on when they spawned. So now, when my thrall attacks on the same tick the boss reaches 0 HP, it goes first, and when the gargoyle takes its turn, it can now see the thrall attack and gets overkilled after reducing HP to 0 from the Chally. Note that Overkill also applies to phase transitions, so instead of reaching 0 HP, when Dawn and Dusk are below 248 HP, it's the same as when they reach 0 HP, where they wait before doing their animation. so it's at this point we are using Overkill to save time. Anyways, with Pid and Overkill explained, we can now analyze the fight. After a thrall summon, we Ruby the boss for a 1 in 15 chance to hit a 99. We reset if we don't hit the proc for the Ruby effect. Then we Hally the boss, report someone just in case, and then Chally the boss. The report button causes my thrall to lose aggro, so that it will attack 1 tick after my next hit. This guarantees the thrall attacks at the right time to overkill Dawn and save a tick. If we don't do enough damage to phase, we reset. We spellbook swap during the transition so we can cast Death Charge. We do a little step back here to avoid Dusk's melee attack popping our Venge, so we can take a big Venge from Dusk's stomp mechanic. Then we use the Easter Ring transformation to once again cause our thrall to lose aggro. The report button won't open if we're taking damage, so that's why we switched to the Easter Ring for this part. We Chally and the thrall overkills Dusk. Once again, we reset if a boss doesn't phase. Now, here's where things get weird. So normally, if you get overkill here with the Chally, Dusk would move to the other side of a room super fast, and you actually save 2 ticks, rather than the normal 1 tick overkill saves. But by getting overkill with the thrall, it does like a half speed up. Dusk and Dawn are 1 tick faster to start the transition, but Dusk doesn't do the super speed across the room, so we only save 1 tick instead of 2 ticks. Whenever I get overkill with a Chally, where the second hit of a Chally is used for overkill, it always gives the super speed up though. My best guess is that Dusk has a unique mechanic going where it gets a second level of overkill from the overkill attack actually landing, whereas normally for overkill, it doesn't matter when the overkill attack actually lands, all that matters is that it exists. But yeah, this is where I lost a tick as my Chally didn't do enough damage to overkill, so it relied on the thrall for overkill, and since Dawn insta-responds with a thrall overkill on Dusk, I assumed I was getting the full speed up this whole time. Anyways, fight goes on, I do Nox Hally into double Chally here, but double Chally seems like it'd be slow, but it drastically improves kill odds over double Nox into 1 Chally. As for 2 extra ticks, I get a potential extra 73 damage over the Nox Halberd. It's important to use the hammer right as I get the XP drop to not lose ticks. Now, I revenge and get ready for final phase. So, a few years ago, a random update broke the boss fight and made the start timer for the stomp damage a bit random. So I start beneath a boss and then run through a boss to spend as many ticks as possible under the boss to increase the odds of taking Avenge from the stomp. Also, if I move the same tick I do the last hit, the game will delay me from using the hammer on the boss. More spaghetti code, I know, so I need to purposely step out of a boss the tick before I do the last hit to avoid that tick loss. But yeah, some insane Chally hits on Dawn and Dusk for the finishing blows. It's a shame my reaction sucked because of the time being 1 tick slower than I expected, because these hits were really insane. But anyways, I'm very happy with this time in hindsight. I might come back in the future if I feel like it to improve the time a bit more, probably only if I run out of other world records to do. I did have a crazy run actually. I was about 12 damage off of getting a 48.8 run, which according to my simulations would take almost 200 hours of resets normally to get. It was quite insane that a run like that was so close to happening. That would have easily been a permanent world record. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed the video. See you next time. Peace.